Welcome back, friends. Why am I wearing this? Blooper reel. Okay. Welcome back, friends. Last guy here, and it's time for the vlog. Okay, so this week it's gonna be a quick update. Oh, giveaway stuff, movie stuff, and stuff about Fanboys a little bit. First up is announcements. Wolfenstein and Destiny 2 are nearly done, so the videos for those are gonna be a little bit like one video a day for a little bit because Jinx has a lot of projects to do for school, so can't do as much editing there. Giveaways. So, next week for Thanksgiving week, I'm gonna do a 10-game giveaway on Gleam. It's gonna be like you can do, you can sub to the channel, sub to the side channel, sub to follow Twitch, follow on Twitter, all those things, and then maybe watch some videos for entries and some other things for entries. There's gonna be 10 games that we're gonna give away. There's going to be 10 winners, and you can have repeat winners. I'm going to do that because why not? And that's how it's going to go. It's going to go for a week, and then that's going to roll out, and then 10 people are going to win. Then I'll email the winners, and they're going to get a random game. I'm going to have like a mix of like higher and low level stuff. Like I feel like even like the cheaper games with the right person can be an amazing thing, but it's also going to be random who gets what as well. But it's going to be an interesting giveaway. And this is a practice run for December, when I think I'm going to do like, is it 25 or 26 days of Christmas? Well, like 25. So it's going to be 25 games, 25 winners. You're going to do that in December as well. So just ramping it up slowly from 10, this time then 25. Just experiment with that and see how hectic that all is to do. And that's going to be the idea. We're still going to do watching videos and commenting as a giveaway as well. We're going to do that as well for YouTube. So we'll have a lot of giveaways then. Another giveaway that's going to happen is, because I have a job now, I'm getting paid now. So I'm going to have paychecks. And I think whenever I get paid, I might do like 1 or 2 giveaways for viewers. Or, well, actually, okay. First up, I'm going to do loyalty stuff. So I'm going to do, like, for the ones who've been around for a long time, I might give them some games. Like, each one gets a game for Christmas. And then after that, it'll be like random anybody giveaway. I think that's what I'm going to do, because there's been some people who've been with us for years. So y'all deserve a Christmas present. Yeah, that's what's happening there. So the channel's going to have like a little bit less videos for a while. And then we're going to start shifting gears, because there's Wolfenstein and Destiny 2 and all that going on. So we just had to get those LPs on there. From now on, any LPs we do that are not like I absolutely must have on the main channel are going to go on the side channel. So we'll see them on the side channel instead. And what else? We'll still see projects and main stuff on the main channel, of course. But LPs that I just want to play aren't necessarily super amazing, need to be seen by everyone, will go on the side channel. And eventually that'll define things, where the side channel will be just nothing but LPs. And then the main channel will be like any LP I really want on the main, and then all our special projects and everything. That's the plan, I think, going forward. For Twitch, it's as always doing about 2 or 3 hours a night, and on the weekends just streaming a lot. I won't be here for Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm not going to be here from Wednesday to Sunday. This is because family wants to go to Vegas, and I have no control over that. That's what they want to do. And so I gotta go with them, or else I'm just, the loner black sheep as always. So I gotta go with family. So that's what's gonna happen. So we're not gonna see any streams Wednesday to Sunday, and that's gonna affect what actually gets made. So there will be no podcast for the Wednesday after, because there's just no time to make it. There is a Thanksgiving video I already recorded. It's about just giving thanks and being thankful and just going through life and pros and cons of, not pros and cons of life, but the ebb and flow of life, the ups and downs of life, the roller coaster of life, and paying it forward. That's what that video is going to be about. It's already made by me. It'll be edited by Jinx later, and that'll be for Thanksgiving. And that's all that stuff. Anything else really quick? Oh yeah, so the big project I want to do for myself personally is personal growth. I feel like I should do some big thing every month. It might not be this month, it might be December, just because I decided on this so late. But I want to do a demo reel for voice work, so I know some sites that have stuff on how you do the demo reel and everything, so I want to make that. But if any viewers have any, like, I might do this in another video, but like, if you have any lines that you think would be good for a demo reel, just put them in the comments, and also say what emotion you think it should be as well. Because I'm thinking, you want to show a you want to show a lot of character emotion. You want to show happiness, sadness, tragedy, excitement, just a lot of different things. The demo reel, what it is it's you showcasing your voice, and then that's just that voice, and then another demo reel would be a different voice. So if I really want to showcase the Reinhardt voice or the Pearl voice, or if I really thought they were really good, I would do that as well. Because the big advice is when you're doing your voice acting, you do your natural voice first, and then you branch out from there. So see how good you can make this voice, and then go from there. And so that's where the first reel will be that. And then if I ever feel confident in another voice, I'll do more with them. Because like the Reinhardt voice is a very higher, happier voice. So trying to do sadder stuff with it would be kind of challenging for now. Same thing goes for like the Judge, or for especially the Edgeworth voice, because it's such a interesting, dramatic voice that it would be weird to do certain things with it. And so it's just developing them, growing in them, and figuring them out. And the demo reels is where you go to show off what you got. And so by doing them, I also see where I'm lacking, so I can improve on them. So that's great as well. And as always, I should do more looking at accent stuff, because accents are kind of fun to do as well. Like, there's the people who are just really amazing at a couple voices, and there's people who can do like 1,000 voices. And it's really cool to see that too, and I kind of want both. And it's the idea of you have the mains, and then you have everything else. That's what I want to do. And I gotta practice it. And I have time to practice it. I'm driving alone for like 9 or 8 hours a day. I can definitely practice voices. Let's see here. Anything else without that? Nope. Okay, so a couple things. I want to talk about trailers, and I want to talk about Justice League, and then I want to talk about Fanboyism when it comes to DC and Marvel and all that crap. First up with the trailers. Saw the Lara Croft trailer before Justice League movie. It's basically the new Tomb Raider game, the first one. They're basically doing that. It's not exactly that, but they're kind of doing that. And I don't know, it might be cool, but it might be boring as well. This is the problem with all the video game movies, and their trailers are, they look like they might be something, and they're actually balls terrible. It's really unfortunate. The last good video game movie, I can't even remember what I would say that is at this point. Everyone says Mortal Kombat, which is so long ago. I think Silent Hill did a pretty good job of being what it was. It wasn't perfect, but it did some things. It was trying to be more accurate than other movies have been. But I can't think of what's been the best one since. Best video game inspired movie is definitely Wreck-It Ralph. For sure. But the Tomb Raider movie, it might be, it might not. I don't know. The girl who's playing Lara Croft looks a lot like the Tomb Raider game character, so that fits pretty well. To see how she handles things. And will she take, like, 6 death blows and not die, just like in the games? That's a question as well, because she should have died so many times in the game. Oh my god. The other one is the Rampage movie. And Rampage, it looks like it's kind of, not exactly, but kind of Godzilla for Americans in a way. They're not that big, though. They're just big, but they're not gigantic Godzilla size. And I see the trailer, and if you haven't seen the trailer, like, see it now, just because. If it wasn't for The Rock, I would not care about the human element whatsoever. Like, Transformers with Shia LaBeouf, no care. I hated every bit of Shia LaBeouf in those movies. I just wanted Optimus. I just wanted Megatron. Screw Bumblebee, I don't give a crap Bumblebee. I want to see just Optimus, Megatron, and then everyone, like, Jazz didn't get to do much in that. Starscream didn't really, he did a little bit, I don't know. I wanted to see the Transformers. There's always been a human element in Transformers. Depending on, like, there's been a lot where they're on Earth, so there's a lot of human element there. But that has never been the main thing. That's never been the main drive. It's about the Transformers. So, I hated everything Shia LaBeouf. Mark Wahlberg, a little bit better, but not really. Not really at all. I, again, would rather just be the Transformers major. I'd rather be 80% Transformers, 20% humans. But it has been very much, maybe 50-50, or even 60 or 70% humans to the Transformers. And I don't like that. And I haven't even seen The Last Templar, The Last Night, or whatever it's called, because it just looked awful. I'm like, no, I'm done. No, I'm not having hope anymore and giving them money. Forget that. Now, on to Justice League. I may as well talk about Thor Ragnarok. I think I talked about it a little bit before, but I didn't do... So I'm not doing movie videos for either one, because I just don't have the time because of Thanksgiving, unfortunately. Also because there's just so many other things to do. Thor Ragnarok, extremely fun movie, and, like, Thor 1 and 2, there's a mix of drama, some comedy, and action. Those are the 3 elements of the Thor movies. The third movie, drama took a peg down, comedy took a peg way up, and then action, actually, it went up a little bit more. I feel like there's more action in this movie than the last two combined. At least it feels like that, but I'm maybe remembering incorrectly. The first Thor movie had, like, a fight at the start, the fight with that metal thing, the fight with S.H.I.E.L.D., and then the fight with Loki. So, like, 4 fights. And the second movie had the elf guys, like 2 or 3 times, and there's also Loki. I think there's only 3 or 4 fights there, too, if I can remember correctly. And then Thor 3 has, like, oh my god, start. There's the whole. I'm talking just. There's, of course, he's gonna be fight at the start. Then there's the Hulk fight, which you see in the trailers. There's, of course, gonna be a final battle. And there's another fight with Hela. Then there's another. There's like maybe 6, 7 fights in the third movie. And they're all very fun. They're all really cool to see. Really good visuals. It's pretty awesome. And there's so much comedy. It is a very funny movie. It's a very entertaining movie. It's not the best Marvel movie. Some people said that. It's one of the most entertaining movies for dang sure when it comes to Marvel. It's really, really entertaining. On the other side is Justice League, which just came out yesterday. And I saw it, and all the reviews just hate it. They hate it, 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 they hate it. They hate it. And on this one, I did not understand. I get the complaints, but it was enjoyable enough that I could forgive them. Just like with Thor. Thor was really good and very entertaining to the point that there were things that fell flat, but I forgave them because the movie was so entertaining. It's the same thing with Justice League. Justice League does a good amount of fanboy service. Fan service. It does a good amount of fan service in that movie. It gives you some cool moments with each character, and they have fun with it, and because of that, it's enough that I could forgive some of the stuff that just doesn't work about the movie. And so I found it quite enjoyable. I don't agree with the 40% of Rotten Tomatoes. I think it is at least above average. Thor Ragnarok is way above average. I'd say maybe outstanding for Thor Ragnarok, but Justice League is definitely above average. It was good enough, I guess. It was good enough. Like, it will not blow you away. Some things will. Visually, there's some things that blow you away. Zack Snyder is one of the best cinematography shooters ever. He knows how to take shots. They're amazing. His movies are just not the best. They're like overblown. They're always overblown. They've never not been overblown. But his shots are amazing. And you can tell some of the stuff that Whedon had a hand in. You can definitely tell some of the things it did. And it did temper what Zack Snyder does. It definitely helped temper it down. It would be very interesting to know exactly which shots are Whedon and which shots are Zack Snyder. There are shots you know dang well are Zack Snyder. And there are things you're not sure, but there are things you know dang well are Whedon as well. But it's a pretty good, it's not, okay, you'll like it. If you're a DC fan, you'll like it. Unless you're a Flash fan, you might not like what they did with Barry Allen, because he's the goofy character. And Barry Allen isn't exactly the goofy character. He's a smart-ass character. That's what Barry Allen is, at least from the comics I've read of Barry Allen. He's always been more of the smart-ass, but he's also very intelligent. In this one, the Flash is very intelligent, but he's also awkward as balls. So you might not like this Barry Allen. Like, he's more like, he's got Wally West's goofiness, but he's more intelligent than Wally. Like, Wally West's intelligence, doesn't he? I actually don't know a lot about Wally West. All I know is Wally West is kind of the punching bag a little bit. He's kind of the one that gets made fun of. Like, if you remember Justice League, the cartoon, that was Wally West, and he's kind of just the comic relief. So I think it would be better if he was Wally West, I guess. Aquaman doesn't get a lot of screen. Well, he gets a lot and not a lot. He doesn't do a lot, but he's pretty cool character. I'm interested in seeing what they'll actually do with him when he has his own movie. Here's what's weird. So you got the 3 new people: Flash, Aquaman, and Victor Stone, Cyborg. Flash is going to get a movie. He's going to get Flashpoint. I don't know how that movie's going to go. I don't know what's going to be. Aquaman movie, same thing. We saw him in Mira. I was excited for Mira. She's there for a little bit. She's pretty cool. She has cool powers. They're getting movies. Cyborg is not getting a movie, and he was probably the most compelling one of the 3 new characters. And so I'm like, this guy's pretty interesting. He's got a conflict going on with him, because he's part man, he's part machine. There's a lot of brooding with him, but he's got a lot going on in his head. And I'm like, I want to see a movie with this guy, and he's not getting a movie as far as I know. It's the other two are. And like, oh crap, I don't know. Jason Momoa is a pretty strong looking dude, really cool looking dude. He's great for Aquaman. And honestly, because of the one-liners you see in the trailers with Aquaman, he looks like he could have just been Lobo. I swear. Like, those are lines that Lobo could say. He's like, my man, and things like that. Because Lobo is kind of like that. Except because Lobo's a lot more raunchier and rougher, but Jason Momoa has a look that could fit for Lobo, and the way he talks could also fit for Lobo, but he is Aquaman. Wonder Woman was really cool. Superman, of course, is really cool, and Batman's cool, of course. There are complaints that Ben Affleck did not bring the acting. I did not notice. Maybe if I saw this, I feel like if I saw it a second time, maybe I'll notice the things people are complaining about. But this is what I gotta say is the first time through, really enjoyed it. Was able to, if there were flaws, did not notice them as well. Whereas for Batman vs Superman, they were extremely noticeable throughout the entire movie. And I just, yeah, I could note, there were just things about Batman vs Superman. There were great parts of Batman vs Superman and just terrible parts. The cracks were evident while watching the movie, could not see them. But for Justice League, it was entertaining enough that if there are cracks in there, I did not notice them very well. So I feel like that's a plus there. If you're able to just enjoy a movie, like you want to enjoy a movie, you can also have a critical mind. But you want to enjoy a movie. You want a movie to be enjoyable. And I think it was. I think Justice League was definitely enjoyable. There are some scenes in there that are really good. There's some really funny things which were definitely Whedon. There are some things in there that were Zack Snyder funny as well. Because we saw them in the trailer before Whedon got involved. I'm like, okay, that was funny, and those are things like that. But Whedon's own touch, which you can definitely tell when it's Whedon's touch, they really help lighten the mood on that thing. Because if this was a hyper serious movie, I don't know. I think Batman vs Superman definitely should have been hyper serious like it was, but I think it was executed poorly. Whereas for this movie, it's better that it's a lighter tone. It's still got a lot of seriousness to it, but there's also a lighter tone to it. And it needs to be because you've got like 6 characters here coming together and they got a big threat. And you kind of need some ebb and flow to lighten the pressure of having all these characters together. It's really tense to have 6 characters together. And if you make it all hyper serious, it's just going to be too intense and it's just going to exhaust the audience. So I'm glad there is a lighter tone to it. Although it is still pretty dang serious as the movie goes. And I just found it enjoyable. There are plenty of nitpicks that can be made, I'm sure, but I just wasn't noticing them while I was watching it. I'm glad for that. Watch it a second time, I'll probably notice them, then we'll see about that. Just as an aside, Star Wars, I've seen... people absolutely hate Awakening. I love that movie, I just really enjoy it. And I watch it, and I still don't... It just doesn't feel as flawed as some people are. They're like, well, it's 3 again. And I'm like, well, it's 4 again. Well, I don't care it's 4 again. This is a literary thing you see. There are times when they have later generations repeat some of the things of an earlier generation. I got no problem with that. This is a literary device. That's, especially with the Force being a thing, that's very much a literary device. Just talking about that. Now, fanboyism. DC and Marvel, I'm effing tired of this crap. I am really tired of it. If you don't like the Justice League movie, then you're a Marvel fanboy. He's like, no! No! Like, DC is not bringing it. They have not been bringing it. Like, Wonder Woman, really good effort there. That is great. Justice League is not up to Wonder Woman's level, but it is pretty good as well by comparison to everything else. Suicide Squad was terrible. Batman vs Superman was not great. If you have to see the extended cut to see how good Batman vs Superman is, that's a mistake. You need to bring your best right then and there when you have your first shot, because that's where all the critical reception is right there. It doesn't matter about the damn DVDs. It doesn't matter about director's cut or any of those things. Those don't matter. You put your best foot forward when you go to the movie theater. You do that. And there's going to be the extended cut for Justice League as well. It's probably going to be superior. And that's not great. It should be, whatever goes to the theaters should be the best cut. It's really what it's supposed to be. The director's cut is a way to get more money out of this whole thing. But if you have not a lot of people interested just in the initial because it was just not so good, so there's a lot of bad reviews for it, so not more people watch it, then you're going to get less DVD sales as well, I think. But I don't know. I just really hate DC fans who are so ingrained with their feet in the sand about DC movies. Or if you don't like it, you're a Marvel fanboy. Or if you don't like it, you're not a comic books person. It's, oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? That is stupid and the wrong way to go about things. You gotta recognize that DC could do better. You gotta recognize DC should be doing better. Just remembered EA and Star Wars, we'll talk about that after this. You have to recognize that DC could be better. And don't use Marvel as an excuse. Like, they complain about Justice League as the villain's not so great. So like, yeah, well, Marvel villains aren't so great either. Shut up! Don't bring up Marvel. Don't compare yourself to Marvel. Because if you're going to compare yourself to the negatives of Marvel, you got to compare yourself to the positives of Marvel. And Marvel has just done better critically, fiscally, and just objectively as far as how storytelling works. They tell the same story with half the movies. The other halves do other interesting things. But they are still kicking DC's ass. They're just doing it way better. The argument that all Marvel movies are the same is really dumb. It goes as far as just like, well, everything has the same ebb and flow. Look, there's always going to be some great opening scene. Every movie can do that. DC does it as well. You can't escape this. Every movie is going to have the big opening scene. That's in all of them, not just Marvel, DC as well, or any action movie, for God's sakes. Then you're just going to follow the storyline, There's going to be a middle portion where there's going to be another big fight. There's going to be a low point at some point after the halfway point, or 2/3 into the thing. And then you're going to have your big, gigantic final fight with some big bad. All these movies do that. They all freaking do that. This is something that's just a structure of these kinds of stories. It's not just comic book movies. It's also action movies where they got to deal with some big threat at the end, because that's just how story progresses. That's just how it is. You have rise, fall, rise. Like, when it comes to action movies, that's the ebb and flow of it. It's not just Marvel. It's not just DC. They all do it. They all do it. Any action movie will do that thing. If they mix it up, if they change it up too much, it might be a little off-putting because people like things that are just the same kind of, but not really. Because I can think of just all the movies. Like, you got Ant-Man. It's a heist movie, but it still has the big villain fight at the end. You've got, of course, Civil War. The big fight at the end, of course, is the two big guys fighting each other. But you have, of course, the big scenes. You have the stuff in the middle. You have the rise and falling. Just a lot of just... It's all the same thing. I don't even know how I'm trying to explain this. They're all the same thing. They're all the same thing, but it's how they handle the journey along that way that matters. Because that's at the end of the day goes into a bigger thing of the argument of nothing's original, everything's the same because of this or this and this. It's like, no, everything's different. Everything's original. Unless you're one-to-one doing the same exact same thing. No, there is always going to be some difference that might make it interesting or better or worse. That's how it is. But I just get tired of DC arguments, DC fanboy arguments against Marvel and why DC's good. People just aren't getting it. They're not getting it. They're not getting comics. They're not getting these heroes. It's like, no, I think Zack Snyder doesn't fucking get it. Gotta censor that one. The way he's handled some of this has been really frustrating. Like, his Superman, there's parts of that Superman that are great. There's parts of Superman is like, that's not the character at all. Same thing goes for Batman. It's just, or just the universe itself. Especially, they don't understand Lex freaking Luthor. Lex Luthor is infuriating. I really hate Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I hate it so very much. It is incredibly frustrating seeing that character. I hate that character. He's not the Joker. He's Lex Luthor. I don't know why he's being the Joker. But he is. So, okay, that's enough. That's enough digression there. DC's got to do better. DC Comics are my favorite. I really love DC Comics. But Marvel is kicking their ass in the movies. They are. And whatever arguments you got to think about it both ways. If you're going to argue things about Marvel, you got to understand that you also have to argue them about DC as well. And if you're going to weigh the negatives, you got to weigh the positives as well. And DC's going to lose that fight every time right now. DC needs to bring it, and hopefully they will in the future. Justice League makes me hopeful. It is better. And hopefully the next movies are even better. And I hope to see a Cyborg movie or a buddy thing. A Cyborg Flash movie I'd like to see. Like, that could work out. Their buddy ship could work out pretty well, I think. But I don't know. Last thing, EA, Star Wars. We're not doing microtransactions for now. That is a win for now. The thing is, they recognize that people are really pissed. So the idea is you're going to buy the game, there's not going to be microtransactions, they're going to try to rework things, hopefully, and not just put everything back in later down the line. If all they do is just put everything back in down the line instead of reworking them, it's going to be very infuriating, and we're going to see a very big argument about Battlefront 3. That's what's going to happen. Did I say Battlefield earlier? Battlefront 3. Battlefront 2, Battlefront 3. If they screw us on Battlefront 2, there's going to be a big argument on Battlefront 3. That's what's going to happen. I can see that. We're not going to buy it. We're not. I was interested in the single player. The single player isn't even complete. Apparently, you need to wait for December. And so it's like they're waiting on people to buy it now so that they can screw them later is what it feels like. And so I'm like, well, I can't buy into that. I can't support that. Like, you're supposed to speak with your wallet. I can't support that. I'm going to be the guy who's missing out on Battlefront 2, just like I missed out on Shadow of War, because I have to make my stand. I'm just one person, so it means nothing. But it is what I have to do. You have to sit right with what you decide for yourself. And I'm sitting right with that as my decision. If the story, when it hits December, is apparently freaking amazing, then we'll look at it then. But I also want to hold out on the microtransactions. I want to see about that as well. But by doing that, I missed the boat on all the viewers and all those things, because you're supposed to put everything out on day one of release. And I've been thinking about that. Relying on the race to the bottom, being the first one out, is not a good practice, I think. It's not a healthy practice. So we need to find a different way to differentiate ourselves from everyone else. And we'll see what that is. Okay, so that's long enough. I talked plenty. I had fun talking about it and watching and listening. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. You can put your opinions about Justice League and Ragnarok, by the way, in the comments. No spoils, though. Like, Justice League just came out. There are things I want to talk about that was a pretty entertaining movie in a lot of ways, both of them. See ya!